to talk to you about building a community. You know, Brian and I speak a lot about how important it is. It's a team sport. Like, right? Foster care is definitely team sport. And so talk about how you built community and how that was important in your journey with your first placement.
I mean, I feel like we didn't have a ton of people that had done foster care, like themselves actively. We're thankful we had you and Brian and that we knew you guys and that you guys did come alongside of our family. And for even respite and stuff like that was the biggest help. So that would be my first thing, is to find a family that like loves your kids, that you trust, and that will like be there for you when you need the respite and you don't have to go to strangers. So
some people are like, oh, respite, I feel like I took them, I should keep them. But talk about how respite was good for the foster kids and for you and for your own kids.
Yes. I mean, it was huge for us. I mean, for our core family, our 3 biological kids and my husband and I. We had, I think it was probably 3 months in, was our first time that the kids stayed the night.
Right.
Not with us, the 2 foster kids.
So you built a little bit of time with them, so they knew that was their home for now and whatever.
And then that weekend, I think they stayed the weekend away, and it was just so nice to go. We went creeking with our kids, and we just made it a super special event and weekend of just like us bonding. Because at the end of the day, like, we try to tell them and we tell ourselves, this is our core family until we adopt a kid one day, maybe.
And we're doing this together.
But this is us, and so we have to keep that bond tight and like let them know like we see them and we love them, and it's still us, even though we have there are other siblings living with us. You know, we called them their sister and brother, and they are their sister and brother, but they, for now, you know?
And I think you just saying that and then showing them what 1 weekend a month or whatever,
however
they need to
often.
see it, right?
Yes, and I think that was really healthy for them and for us. And
then they missed them, right?
And they missed them, and you know, like, space and time makes the heart grow fonder, and like we all would get frustrated with each other, but then spending 2 nights away, they all came back together, and the 5 siblings, like, just, it was fun. Like, they were so excited to see each other, and they missed each other. So I feel like it was healthy.
For everyone.
For all of us. And I think it was healthy for the 2 foster babies, too. Like, to go and be loved on and have a special weekend away, like, with people that they loved and that loved them. It was a win-win for everybody. And so that would be the number one thing I think that you should do is find that support. But in general, all the other supports were so helpful. Like, right when we got our placement, our church set up a meal train, and we had meals delivered, I think 3 times a week for like 5 weeks.
Wow.
Which feels like too much time, but it wasn't, because imagine those first 5 weeks all of a sudden going from 3 to 5 kids, like almost
and
doubling
appointments and oh my god.
Oh, and the first month of getting a placement, I'm sure you guys have talked about that or will, but I mean, that first month and a half is just a whirlwind of appointments. That was one thing I felt like was definitely underplayed. Like, in all of our training is like, you better just quit all other things.
That's your life for
when you get a new placement, because for that you have to go and do all of the checks and I get it all. But so
meals were important.
The meals were huge for us. It just helped us to be able to just focus on the kids. And 3 days a week, I knew I didn't have to figure out what I'm going to feed this small army that we all of a sudden have.
When you had those appointments, you had other people. You were lucky to have family, but take your other kids where they needed to be or pick them up.
And so then that's the other huge thing, is like to have good supports in place that can care for your kids while you are gone with your new foster kids at all of these appointments. And I guess maybe people bring all of them, but we had 5 kids, 5 and under. So imagine a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-year-old like at the hospital checkup visits. Like that was not going to work. And so we're thankful that we did have my mother-in-law, who had just recently retired. So she did it with us, you know, and she would keep our 3 while I had to go, and she was willing to go through any trainings she needed to do to be able to watch our foster babies too. And so she was a huge help. In general, I mean, I feel like people just checking in.
Yeah.
Just knowing that you're seen and that people are thinking of you, even if they can't do anything or help you.
And they may not know the story, but you can just say it was a hard day.
Yes.
I remember someone dropped you off a coffee at the door.
Oh my gosh, and that was the best. Like at 9 a.m. for people to send me texts, and it happened so much, which I'm so thankful. Like, hey, go check your doorstep, and they don't want to talk because I didn't have time to talk to people really.
And they're not offended.
No,
they don't care
they
that you
just
don't
left
have time.
it and then told me after so that they weren't adding to my burden. And same thing with meals. Like people weren't trying to come in and add to the chaos. They would just drop it. And some people would, and they wanted to like meet our new kids and be a part of it. But I think most people knew, like, okay, this isn't necessarily the right time.
I think you did a great job because you can't share the details, right? But you did a great job of sharing your journey with people who don't know about foster care without, breaking confidentiality, but just like, today was hard or today was great or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't you think that's important for foster parents to be transparent in whatever way they feel comfortable, but some way do that so people know.
And that was kind of, we decided like we are going to post some about this like on our own personal like social media things, Facebook, Instagram, and as weird as that felt to like post things more, I think that's how people knew like and what was going on. And so that's how we had support systems. And it was people that I wouldn't talk to on the day-to-day, but they saw my post saying it was a bad day, and I got Venmo'd.
Wow.
$10 to get myself lunch or to buy coffee. Like from friends I went to high school with like 15 years ago. So it allowed like other people to also like support
embrace
us. Somebody gave us an iPad because I had posted like we really with
they're
all
trying
the
to
kids,
share them.
we have one iPad and 5 kids and they're all trying to play on this right now like for their screen time, whatever. What does anybody have a cheap idea for a new tablet, whatever? And somebody shipped it to me. A girl I went to high school with. I was not even that close of friends with her, and she said, I have this. It's been sitting in a drawer. I've barely used it. I would love to just send it to you. And she not only gave us a pretty new iPad, she like paid, I saw the postage on it. It was like $25 to ship it across the country. So things like that where I'm like, if we weren't publicly sharing some of this, you're not allowing people who want to serve. They're not going to do foster care on their own.
I say that all the time. But you let them be a part in however they were able.
Like they got to feel like they're helping love children who are needing love and families and homes. They know that they're not the ones that are going to be doing it and bringing kids in, but to help support the families that are doing it. So I feel like it was a win-win, and you're allowing people to be a part of foster care, even though they're not the ones like that are the hands doing it.
And so I think I always say, we say it takes a village, but I think it takes you to invite the village in, right?
It's
your job as a foster parent.
To allow people in,
Because I think, I know you're kind of like me, like at first you think, I'm just going to do it all, right? Like I don't ask for help, no, that's weakness, or I shouldn't, right? But you saw how important it was and how important it was for those other people too.
And even like when the kids we were thinking reunification was coming, we had this court date, we kept hearing different things, but we thought like, okay, we think that this is it. We didn't tell many people that. But then on the day that we went to court, and like some people knew, our close friends, like our close friends and family, we got home and like our neighbors had all chipped in like $40 a family, and they had this huge gift basket for us, like when we got home from court that day. And we're driving them home, like we had dinner sent to us that night. Like
they're
people
just
loved us. And again, it was all because they were leaving, you know, and they were our babies, and everybody loved them, and and it wasn't just like everybody was kind of grieving that,
because they had went on the journey with you.
And so they didn't know what else to do. Like they didn't get to like say goodbye or like give them gifts necessarily, but they supported us and our family. So that was a really cool time too. Just the way that flower deliveries, food deliveries for a couple days, the gifts. That we didn't ask for, and I felt weird. Like this is a lot.
But
like
they wanted to do it.
This is and they're like, you guys did such like you were faithful, and you had them, and we know how much your heart is hurting, and so we want to love you guys.
I love that.
Crying.